So this is MJ, repping Incredible Jokers. My cameraman Mikey, aka Razor from Incredible Jokers.
What up, P?
Alright, the other two members at home about to come later. And Jerk, here we go.
Oh, okay.
Alright, that's it. Peace.